Some storage owners are charging way below market rents, and most investors don't even notice the big opportunity literally hiding in plain sight. I use something called the rent gap sniper method to spot these hidden value plays and take action fast without doing any of the rate research myself. Now, what I want to walk you through here is how anybody, how you, an everyday person, can jump on Crexi.com and literally be able to identify hidden opportunities that most other investors have just not spotted. So right here, what you want to do is when you go to Crexi.com, you want to click on for sale. And then what I like to do is right here in the all filters section, I want to select self-storage. Now, Crexi.com, LoopNet.com, think of this like the commercial MLS, but in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you this rent gap sniper method, which is so simple. You can literally train a virtual assistant. Anybody can do it. You can do this on your spare time to find opportunities without having to do a lot of the rate research yourself, without having to check comparables when it comes to rent. And so self-storage, and what you can do is you can just type in, literally you can put in any state you want here. So Mississippi, you can put in Missouri. It doesn't really matter. Whatever states you want to pull up, you can pull up here. And then what I like to do is, for right now, I'm literally just going to focus on market property. So I'm going to check these off. The great thing about Crexi is that right here in the keywords, if you watched my last video, which we'll link down below on seller financing, you could literally notice right down here in the bottom right where it says show 99 listings, you can put in seller financing. And there's one listing right now with the keyword seller finance. And there's other keywords you can use. That's not the purpose of this video. But what I've done is I've already done some of the homework and I've pre-selected some properties. So here's a perfect example. John Lindsay from Lindsay Self-Storage, a good friend of mine who has a great brokerage. They bring a lot of deals to market. They got Lake Charles, Louisiana on the market right now. And what I like to do is when I spot these opportunities, so as an example, I'm going to go ahead and show 99 listings. I want to click on the ones that say view OM, view ON. OM stands for operating memorandum. This is where brokers put all the information about the self-storage facility, about the market, the demographics, the financials, etc. So I'm only going to focus on the ones that say view OM. Now, when you click on view OM, it's either going to ask you to sign a non-disclosure, right? For right now, I'm just going to focus on the ones where you don't have to sign that. You certainly could. Either one, it's going to work fine. But what I do want to share with you is that not all operating memorandums are going to show you the rent comparables, which is really what we're after here. But in the example that I chose here below, and I'm going to walk you through probably 3 or 4 different examples, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to the section that says unit mix and then rent comparables or rent comparison. So as you can see right here, we got to the page where it says rate comparison and it highlights the subject property. So right now it's highlighting safe storage located at 170 Gilmore Road. Now here's what we're looking for. We want to take a look at the lowest rates from the competitors. Why? Because that is the hidden opportunity that's hiding in plain sight. So here's an example. The storage facility that Lindsay Storage Group is offering and bringing to market that they're selling is Safe Storage. Now, the 5x10s for Safe Storage are $60 a month. The 10x10s is $100 a month. The 10x15 is $130, and the 10x20 is $155. Now, check this out. Just with a click eyeball glance, where can you spot the opportunity here? And hopefully you said Southwest Mini Storage, located at 477 Parish Road. Now, why is this a hidden opportunity? Well, take a look at their rates. $40 for a 5x10, $65 for a 10x10, $80 for a 10x15. This is low-hanging fruit. This is what we call a light value add lift, where if you're able to go ahead and pick up the phone and call Southwest Mini Storage, and if they're open to selling, you know that there is a gap, right? You can raise the rates because they are well below the average of the street rates. How do I know that? Well, take a look at the subject property. The 5x10 is 60. Neighborhood Mini Storage is at 76. Moss Bluff Self Storage is at 87. Turnkey Enterprise is at 60. Well, Southwest Mini Storage is well below all that. So if you were hypothetically to go and buy Southwest Mini Storage at the right price or terms, you could literally go in there from day one and raise the rates at least up to $60, right? If not potentially higher. But so that gap right there, that rent gap sniper method is that I referred to earlier, that is hidden opportunity. When you're able to go in there and raise the rates, you're going to generate more revenue. It's going to increase your net operating income. And that is what is going to increase the overall value of the facility, not to mention the increased NOI and net cash flow that you could potentially be getting from this facility. So there's a perfect example. In fact, I actually brought up that property 477 Parish Road. And like I've talked about in previous videos, which I want to encourage you, if you haven't seen those, click the link in the description below. They don't even have a Google My Business listing. They don't have a website. I don't even see a phone number for this facility, right? So this is the definition of a mom and pop storage owner operator, and there could be an opportunity there. So let's actually, just out of curiosity, I'm just going to go ahead and drop my little yellow dude here right in front of this facility. And here it is, right? So mom and pop run facility. There's a barbershop, looks like on site. Here's the barbershop, which is interesting because it's attached to the storage facility. But I don't see a sign. I don't see a phone number. They don't have a Google My Business listing. They don't have a website. Now, I may not have come across this opportunity, but because I was looking at operating memorandums and I was using this rate gap sniper method approach, I was able to spot one. So it's basically a free lead. It's a free opportunity. And here's the cool thing. Storage brokers are doing all the work for you. They've already gone out and done the rate comparison, and they're literally providing it for you right there in the operating memorandum. Let's go ahead and move on to a second example right here. So USA Storage LA in Shreveport, Louisiana, not a market that I'm particularly interested in, but just for the purpose of this example, here we go. USA Storage, they're 5x5, 35, 5x10, 45, 10x10, 65. Well, take a look here at Payless Storage Inc., right? They don't have 5x5s. Now, the 5x10 is actually a bit higher than USA Storage. That's okay. But the reason this one jumped out at me is because look at the competitors. 86, 81, 84, 64. So Payless is still lower on the 5x10 compared to the average, which is 72. Now, take a look at the 10x10. Here's where things get interesting. $60 Payless Storage. The subject facility, 65. Look at the average, 102. So again, hypothetically, you could pick up the phone, you could call the owner and talk to Payless Storage Inc. And if you could buy that facility at the right price and terms, you know that you have baked in value there where you can just go in and raise the rates. And that's just one way that we increase the value of storage facilities, right? We introduce marketing and automation. We introduce fee income, whether it could be late fees, auction fees, admin fees, tenant protection. All those profit centers help generate more revenue and increase the net operating income, which has an exponential impact on the overall value of the facility when you apply a certain cap rate. There's an example there, and if we were going to check this one out here, so 8202 Juella Avenue, right, which is right here. That's Payless Storage Inc., 8202 Juella Avenue. Looked it up, same thing here. No Google My Business, no website, no phone number. And take a look. This actually looks like a pretty good size facility. Let's go ahead and drop it right here. It's right next to an Office Depot. Take a look at this facility. Fenced, paved roads. Looks really nice. Let's see if they even have a sign. I'd be surprised if they don't with this size facility. But they don't even have, from what I can tell, okay, there it is. So Payless Storage, they do have a sign, but they don't have a website. They're not taking advantage of simple things they can do, like a Google My Business listing, adding their business to Google, which is, doesn't take really any time and energy, right? That's low-hanging fruit. So you could literally pick up the phone, have a conversation with this owner, see if they're interested in selling. And if they are, you have the ability to go in and raise the rates pretty much from day one, right? So let me share with you just a couple more examples. So here it is, Old Jack Storage, located in Flint, Texas. We'll take a look at this. 5x10, they're at 65. 10x10, they're at 95. Take a look at Advantage Self-Storage. 49, right? So they're already $16 below the 5x10. And then you got their 10x10 is at 69, right? So they're, what is it? Look how far below the 10x10, and not just based on the subject property. Look at Storage Warehouse. They're at 133. Look at Republic Self Storage. They're at 99. Now, in all fairness, I'd have to go and look at those facilities to see if it's an apples to apples. Are we talking a Class C facility compared to a Class A facility? That we need to look at, but take a look at Advantage Self Storage, which well below, across the board on their entire unit mix, well below the subject property, which is the property being sold and brought to market by this particular broker. If we go over here to Advantage Storage, now in this case, they do have a phone number, they do have a website, they are taking advantage of a Google My Business, good for them. They only have 9 reviews, not a ton, but nevertheless, if you go here, here's their website, their advertising specials, right, which tells me that there's vacancy and they're trying to lease up. If we go here, take a look at their 5x10 drive up, $49, which is exactly what we have here. Advantage 5x10 drive up, $49. Take a look at the average. That's $10 below the average, right? On their 10x10, they're $31 below the average. On they're pretty much right in line with the 10x15, but take a look at the 10x20, right? They're basically $19 below the average. So those are opportunities to go in and increase the value of the facility by raising the rates, generating more revenue, more net operating income, and that's where your value comes, or that's at least one of the places your value comes. Last example here, we have Donor Springs. So here's the subject facility, right? And then take a look at Frederick Mini Storage. Okay, Frederick Mini Storage, there. Now take a look at Donor. The 5x10, they're at 45. A 5x12, which is 2 feet bigger, they're $10 below Frederick Mini Storage at 35. Okay, so 10x10, they're at the subject facilities at 100. 10x12 for Frederick, 45, well below market value. And if we come here to the Google Maps, same thing. No website, no Google My Business listing, no phone number. This is where you guys can find these opportunities that, like I've said before, they're hiding in plain sight. A lot of people, when they look at an operating memorandum, they're just looking because they're interested in the subject facility. They're maybe checking out the market, the demographics. But why not also look at the rate comparisons? Look at the competitors and try to spot the ones where the rates are either lower than the subject facility or just overall lower than the average of the market street rates. And then those are free leads, essentially. They're opportunities. Now, it doesn't mean that the owners of those facilities are necessarily interested in selling, but you won't know until you pick up the phone, smile and dial, or you send them a direct mail letter, which is one of my favorite ways to get these storage deals. So look, if you found this strategy valuable, make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any more videos to help you find, fund, and close on your first or your next storage facility. Drop a comment below if you use my rate gap sniper method. Hopefully this helps you and you're able to get in contact with owners and find these hidden gems that are out there. And look, if you've been following me, or if you just came across this channel and you're ready to get serious about buying your first or your next storage facility, head over to storagewins.com. The link is going to be below in the description. That's where I show everyday people how to create real cash flow and build freedom through storage without tenants, without toilets, or without trading time for money. So if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and you're definitely going to want to check out the video that pops up on the screen here.